Hi fellow dreamers, in this video we're going to offer some tips that you can use to have a loving lucid dream experience. Thanks for joining everybody. My name is Carolina. As you know, I focus on doing children's books that promote love, unity, and peace. You can find our Lupita books on Amazon or on my website, and I also help my followers interpret their dreams. We do this because when we listen to our dreams, we're connecting to our subconscious, and when we share them, we connect with one another on a more profound level. So let's get started with the topic of today. Many of you have requested a video like this. You're like, I'm ready to have lucid dreams because I want to begin to manifest the things I desire in waking state in a more powerful way, but you're afraid that you're going to have a scary lucid dream experience. So let's explore this. We're going to give you some great tips today. Let's start before you even have a lucid dream experience, what you need to do. Because remember, when you're already in the lucid dream, you already have to deal with it right then and there. So let's take a step back and talk about some of the things we can do before we even go into a lucid dream. All right. Remember, we want to have these lucid dreams because whenever we can create things in this space during the time that we're sleeping, it's going to be more powerful, and it's a really wonderful connection with the mind, body, and soul. So whenever you're creating things in dream state, they're more likely to begin to manifest for you in waking state. And like you know, lucid dreams can be used to practice various things that you're working on in waking state. So let's go ahead and get started with those tips before you actually enter this lucid dream. One of the things that you can do is before you go to bed, practice your breathing exercises. Remember, we have a whole video on this, on how you practice your deep breathing. The reason we want to practice just breathing deeply and relaxing is because this will allow us to be in that calm state before we even go to sleep. Now, this breathing exercise can be done just by itself, or you can go ahead and do some calming meditation with it. And of course, we have videos on meditations as well. Now, the main difference with the meditation is that you're essentially closing your eyes, you're connecting mind, body, and soul, and just allowing yourself to connect and just really breathing, right? Any thought that comes in, go ahead and let it go. Any thought that comes in, go ahead and let it go. So that's something you can do with meditation. And then with your, with your breathing practices, that's just, you can be with your eyes open or closed, but basically the idea is that you're just breathing, you're just staying calm. Either way, those two things can help you. Now, one of the other things you can do before you go to bed is start to create a ritual for yourself, or like a little bedtime routine. For example, if you know that drinking lavender tea at night will relax you and help you get into sleep easier, then do that. If you need to do some stretches before you go to bed, do that as well. You have to find the routine that is right for you. Whatever is going to calm you down, get you in that relaxed, loving state, those are the things you want to do before bed. This is critical, okay? This is critical because essentially what you're doing is you're setting the stage for your dream. You're setting the stage to start exploring in dream state, all right? Now, along with breathing, along with your meditations, along with things that you can drink like relaxing teas, all right? Another thing is allowing yourself enough time before bed where you're not watching anything, okay? Let's not watch a lot of TV right before bed because those images will stay with you, and of course the feelings associated with those things you're watching will also stay with you, all right? So those can interfere with your dream state. So go ahead and just allow yourself that time to just relax and be with yourself, all right? So that's one thing before you go to bed. Now, the last thing I'll mention on the things before we go to bed is doing an intention. Okay, right before you go to sleep, say it to yourself. Okay, hands on your heart. And I'm going to have some awesome intention items for you very soon. Okay, so stay tuned for that. But for now, what you do is you put your hands here and you say your intention. Okay, let's say that your intention is to have a more loving dream experience. Say that. Okay, say, tonight I want to have a more loving dream experience, and I open myself to just that. All right, say it in the way that feels best to you. When you feel yourself connecting with the message, that is what you want. When you feel that you are in love and peace and you feel good about it, go ahead and just go to bed, all right? Now, let's move on to things that you can do when you're already in the lucid dream, because sometimes what happens is you're already in the dream, you're already aware that you're dreaming, and you're starting to change things around, but this is where a lot of dreamers become fearful. They worry and they say, well, Carolina, what if I begin to think of something I'm afraid of and I start creating fearful things? Now, this is of course very possible because remember, you are the dreamer, you are in control of the dream. But like we always talk about, your feelings sustain the dream. Your feelings are what guide the dream world and your dream interpretation. So it's very important that you stay calm during the dream. Let's say that you're aware that you're dreaming, and for whatever reason, these fearful thoughts begin to come into your mind and you start to create fearful things within the dream. Number one thing to do is keep breathing deeply. All right, this is why we're practicing our breathing exercises when we're awake, because the more you practice them when you're awake, the easier it is to practice when you're asleep, especially aware in a lucid dream. Okay, let's say we're afraid. Let's practice our breathing. Deeply breathe into your tummy. Exhale. Let your tummy inflate completely, okay? And you want to do this because this is going to relax your mind and it's going to relax your body. Excuse me. So you keep doing this during dream state, during your lucid dream. This is going to help you stay calm during this experience. And not only that, but it's going to help you start to think of more positive, more loving things, because you're neutralizing your energy. You're neutralizing your emotions. Now, if you're fearful and you're like, oh no, I'm afraid, and you start creating even more and more fear, okay, all you're going to do is wake up with fearful energy. So let's go ahead and practice the breathing during this lucid dream. This is very powerful. This practice for you is not only going to help you be calm and peaceful during this lucid dream experience, but the fact that you can calm yourself down in that way is very powerful. That's going to start to reflect in waking state for you. Whenever you're in a situation that causes you anxiety or fear, you're going to be able to do that breathing exercise, and it's going to calm you down even sooner because you're practicing it in waking and in dream state, okay? It's a wonderful connection for the self. So that's one thing you can do, is practice the breathing during the dream. Now, another thing that you can do is remember this, okay? When you're in that lucid dream and you begin to have a fearful thought, remind yourself, okay, because you're already aware that you're dreaming, okay? So you know that you are creating this. Go ahead and remind yourself that you are creating this, and just like you created it, you can create something else, all right? You can pivot. You've got to practice pivoting in your dream. And what I mean by this is you pivot the mind, all right? For example, when you're awake, let's say you get an idea that's like an intrusive thought, a thought that you don't want to have, but it's like bothering you, okay? Instead of like focusing on it or being like, oh no, avoid, what you do is you just acknowledge it and you have to let it go. You have to practice acknowledging and letting it go. Because what are we doing? We're giving it attention. We're saying, yeah, we realize that this is coming to mind right now, but I don't need it right now. I'm letting it go, okay? When you practice this in waking, it's easier in dream state and vice versa, because the two worlds connect themselves with you as the dreamer, okay? So again, when you're having an intrusive thought in dream state, go ahead and do the same thing, all right? Allow the thought to come and let it leave, all right? And then once you do that, you can pivot. You can start to think of other things that you want to see. Let me give you a quick example here. Let's say that you're in a really nice dream world, everything is going well, etc. But then you see an image of something that really terrifies you. It terrifies you. So you're like, oh no, I see it. Okay, number one, breathing. Okay, practice breathing, stay calm so you can stay in the dream. I'll explain why you want to do this in a little bit. Stay calm so you can stay in the dream, all right? And then after that, pivot the idea. I don't want to see this, but I want to see something else. I want to see my dog. I want to see the sky, whatever, okay? Whether that's that you change the image here, or whether that is that you simply turn your eyes and imagine something somewhere else. Whatever way is easiest for you, but this practice in lucid dream state is incredibly powerful, all right? So you have to start practicing these things within your lucid dream experience when these fearful ideas begin to happen. The more you practice this, the easier it will be for you. That's why some of our dreamers so enjoy being in lucid dreams, because they're like, I can create whatever I want. I can see and practice whatever it is that I want. And that doesn't just happen willy-nilly. Oftentimes you have to practice it, especially if you haven't practiced it in a long time. And if you and your family haven't talked about dreams and the significance that they have and the critical role that they can play in your life, then it's going to take a little bit of practice. But know this, you have that, okay? You have that gift within you. It is already part of you. You have your own dream language, okay? So don't worry too much about it, but just know that practicing this is going to help you. Now, let's focus now on a couple of things. We talked about what we can do before bed. We talked about some things we can do during the dream. Let's talk about something we can do after this experience, okay? Let's pretend that we tried doing these things, but for whatever reason, we still had a fearful experience and we wake up with fearful energy. This is something that happens to many of our dreamers as they're starting their practice. Know that this is normal. It's completely okay. But let's offer you some tips so that way you can get into peaceful and loving energy. Because the more you can get into peaceful and loving energy, the more likely you're to try this again, okay? If you cannot get into peaceful and loving energy, you wake up with a fearful thought and you begin the day with that energy. And then what happens? You start to avoid your dreams. You start to say, I don't want to have a lucid dream because they're always scary. The only reason your lucid dreams are scarier because you are carrying that energy within you. If you carry that energy within you, that is essentially what you're running your dream with. And remember this, the two worlds reflect one another. So all that this is saying is that when I am operating my waking state life, I'm operating it with the same energy. At the core, there's fear and there's anxiety still here. I'm not confident about a few things, okay? And it shows up in dream state. It is letting you know, hey, when you start to create things, there's this anxiety, there's this fear about it, all right? So reflect that for a moment. In waking state, you're probably feeling that way. You're probably starting a new project or a new job, but underneath everything, there's so much fear and so much anxiety. Dream state is saying, hey, look, it's time to let that go, and it's time to know that we are capable of doing these things, all right? So let's say we wake up from that dream and we're still afraid. We're like, darn it, I tried to change things, but I couldn't, and I'm afraid. Okay, again, we're awake. Breathing again. Number one, practice that breathing. Don't open your eyes yet. Stay with me here, okay? Do not open your eyes yet. When you open your eyes right after a scary experience, what you're doing is essentially accepting that information and beginning the day with it. Okay, I'm opening my eyes with it. I'm fearful, I'm here, etc. You're bringing it to present. So don't open your eyes just yet. Be brave and stay with me, all right? Before you open your eyes, keep them closed. Put your little hands over your heart or on your chest like this and breathe. Let your tummy inflate, okay? And give thanks. Even if the experience was a scary one, say thank you for allowing me to remember my dream and for letting me be aware of this dream, okay? Because you were lucid during the dream. So give thanks for that. And as you're breathing deeply, even if the fear is still there, keep breathing deeply and just touch the blankets around you to just re-emphasize the idea that you're here. You are now here and you are now awake, okay? Once you do this, you're going to start feeling yourself calming down because you're breathing and you're realizing that you're here now awake, okay? So keep doing this for a bit until you're able to be in a more peaceful state. Oh, excuse me. That was my nose got itchy and there was like a little hummingbird. Okay, so do this for a while for yourself until you can get into a peaceful state. Once you're at the peaceful state, then open your eyes. All right, this is powerful because now you've essentially moved yourself from fearful energy to neutral to peaceful, okay? You've accepted that you've had this experience, but you're realizing, look, that doesn't have to define me and it doesn't have to define my day. I am going to move into peaceful and loving energy. Once you're there, you open your eyes, you begin the day with that energy. That's what's so powerful. The more that you practice these kinds of things before bed, during your dreams, and then after, this is going to be really powerful for yourself on many levels, mind, body, spirit, okay? Once you start doing things in waking state, you're going to be able to get into that loving energy easier and easier every time because you're practicing it at the deepest self of you, okay, within dream state. So put your questions down below. Let me know how your experience goes. And know that we always offer resources here. We have so many little meditations about lucid dreams to have more loving experiences. We always try to do Q&A for you, and of course one of the things that we try to do is we try to answer your questions here on video. And just know that if you have your questions, I will respond to them either here or I'll do videos on TikTok, but either way your question will be answered. So I hope this was helpful. Let us know what you thought about this, and always make sure to like and follow us, and of course share this information with other people who might find it useful as well. But guys, I send you a huge hug. I send you love, unity, and peace, and I will see you all very soon. Bye, everybody.